The motor and fan come from the Harbor Freight 2 horsepower. They call it an industrial dust collector. For me, it was a great product at a great price for what I needed. For those of you not familiar with it, here's the manual. This is kind of what it looks like assembled. It came with two things that I was intending on using but ended up not. One of them was this adapter between the output of the fan and it goes to the input of what they call the collector. And here's the collector here in real life. And in the diagram, the adapter sits here, then there's a hose, goes up to the collector. Again, I was going to use those, but as I looked at this particular piece, I just viewed this more as a restriction than an actual adapter, and I didn't think it was going to work very well. I'll pan over here to my solution, and you can see the backside, the rectangular output of the fan going into a 10-inch diameter end cap for the ductwork. My personal philosophy is the output of the fan you want as little restriction as possible. You don't want the fan to expend any of its horsepower to push the air out of the fan. You want all the energy of the fan to be pulling air and particles into it. So I figured larger was better. So again, not being too thrilled with that adapter. And finally, I was planning on using this collector piece, but you can kind of tell by the size and shape. Mounting it on the wall looked to be a bit of a challenge, and it's made of steel, so it's fairly heavy, and it was also going to be supporting the weight, potentially, of the filter, which is, you know, nothing to sneeze at. And for all those reasons, I opted not to use any of these pieces. As it turns out, of the Harbor Freight dust collector, the only part I ended up using was the fan and motor, so the entire purchase price was just for those two components there. I hope you liked this video and found it informative. Maybe it answered some of your questions, perhaps it gave you some ideas on some of your own projects. I realize I'm no Steven Spielberg, but feel free to send any constructive feedback my way. And if you enjoyed it, don't hesitate to like it or subscribe. Thanks a lot, and good woodworking.